there's any guiding principles that you would pass on to the younger generation out there that's really aspiring to become successful, maybe they didn't come from much, but that they just have really high ambitions. They want to really achieve success. What are those 2 or 3 guiding principles that you would pass on to them that work for you and that you've seen really generate success in people?
Yeah, so I go back to my 7 principles for success. So, number 1 is gratitude. So being appreciative of what you have, even no matter how big or small what you have is. A lot of times I hear people comparing themselves to other people, looking on Instagram or, Facebook or TikTok or whatever, and saying, "Oh, must be nice," or "I wish I had that." It's like, you can't complain, about something that you did nothing for, right? So being grateful for the situation, just being grateful. I saw a video of a guy that was explaining something to this couple. He's an influencer or something, and it was actually a great analogy. He said, if I can give you guys $10 million today, but I told you that tomorrow you wouldn't wake up, would you take it? And they said no. So obviously you living and breathing is more important than that $10 million, right? So just be grateful for what you have, for the life that you have, for what you've been blessed with, and stop always focusing on the negative. Number 2, live in the moment but plan for the future. So focus on what's in front of you. So a lot of times people always want to focus 10 years out, the X, Y, and Z, whatever. It's like, no, focus on what's in front of you, get done what's in front of you, whether it's good or bad, but also at the same time with keeping in mind, what you have going on. Number 3, learn to delegate. We've discussed that a lot, so I don't have to really go too much in that. Number 4, no ego. So thinking that you know everything or thinking that someone can help you, when you're talking to somebody and they're quick to always cut you off to give their opinion, that's probably somebody you do not want to be around, right? So it's like one of those things where it's like, even people who are smarter than you and extremely successful, if you ever notice, they typically are listeners. They just kind of sit around and they just let people really talk, and they're observing and they're listening because they just want to, what can they, one is, they're kind of surveying the room, but 2 is they're learning. You can't learn when you're talking, right? So that's another one. And I would say that that's some of the major ones, and major keys to success, in my opinion. And really, to emphasize back on one of the things I said, especially for younger people, is, comparison is a thief of joy. You've heard me say that a lot lately, and comparison is a thief of joy. So like comparing your life to somebody else's, especially on Instagram or anything else, it's like, especially women. Women will take 100 pictures to pick one that's the best angle. Then they'll go on there, they'll edit it, face app, do everything else, and then post that. And then somebody else is comparing their looks or their life or whatever to this person that is giving you a 1% snapshot of their life. It's not even 1%. The location, the area, or whatever they're in is 1% of the time in their timeline of their life, right? Or in the month that they're in. They take a picture of, it's a highlight reel, right? So they take a picture of that. Then they took 100 pictures of this highlight reel. Then out of the best picture that they took, they edited the best picture, that's a picture, a 1% picture of a highlight reel, and then they edited that picture, and now you're comparing yourself to that edited 1% of a highlight reel. And so that's just not, it's not, so you have to be focused on your own race and not focus on what everybody else is doing and comparing whatever. It's like, are you happy with where you're at? Some people are happy and, making $50,000 a year. And I wish, and this sounds crazy, but I wish I could be content. My number one problem is I have a lack of contentment, and a lack of achievement. Like I reach a goal, it might be a goal that I set for myself in a 5-year goal. I reach that goal and I'm not happy. I'm like, okay, cool, reach the goal. And that's why a lot of times I set a purchase, something that I want. Obviously I can just go and buy it, but I won't allow myself to buy it until I reach that certain goal. So when I reach that goal, I can now purchase X. So like the Rolls Royce was one of those goals. So when I reached that goal, I said, okay, cool. I reached that goal. Now I can purchase X, right? So now every time that I look at X, I realized the achievement of that goal. But otherwise, the second that you reach the goal, for any high achiever, you're just looking and saying, okay, what's the next goal? You never sit down to really kind of appreciate the fact that you achieved that goal, right? So there's a lack of contentment there. And that's why a lot of times people say, money doesn't buy happiness, because where's the contentment? The guy who made $40,000, or let's say $50,000, and he's the manager of Best Buy, he goes home, to him, he has a smoking hot wife. He goes home, he kicks his feet up, he looks at his store's numbers. He has the district manager send him an email saying, great job, Robert. Your store is #2 in the district. And he's happy about that, takes his family out to a nice steak dinner and spoils them. He goes to Disney World once a year for, 5 days. And to him, he's extremely happy. And then you have the other person who, literally during the downturn in 2008, was a billionaire in Germany that lost $7 billion and killed himself. The only thing is, he still had $2 billion. 'Cause to him, he lost everything, right? Yeah. So everything is about perspective. So it's like, how are you framing your life? Are you comparing your life to somebody else's, or are you comparing your life to what you consider, what you deem to be happiness, and what is considered happiness for you? Everybody has to figure that out for themselves.